Okay, so hi, it's me, Chris again, and I'm on my account, Red Hot Pawn. I'm going to be, thanks to my, oh sorry, I forgot to introduce Fiona's here again, and these apparently are the recent checkmates, and don't forget to like it, which I already did. Okay, so if you see my recent videos about um, how to think, basically, I'm trying to help you learn how to develop a chess mind. It's thinking ahead and how to look 12 moves ahead and so on. Well, I've got 11 games currently waiting for me. I'll get to them in a minute. Now, I know this is annoying, but this is the only way I know how to get it to it. Okay. Now, you saw the game, the video where I'm walking down the street and I explain how to look ahead and what to think. This game gives you a great example of looking for what your opponent leaves behind. And my opponent never did this, and 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 it cost him the game. Oops, let's go back. So this game was in September 12th, Long Haul Split 2. My color, I played black. So okay, I played the standard E4, E5. So like I said before, it's going to be a nice closed game. He brings knight to F3. I do my normal bishop sacrifice. This is the opening for the bishop king sacrifice opening. C4, bishop takes F2, stops the king castling and creates confusion. King takes F2. I bring my knight out to attack his E4 pawn. He's attacking mine. Knight takes E5, threatening to take the pawn on F7, either with the knight or queen. Okay, so this is where it starts. What did the knight? Oh no, white has just taken the pawn, and this is where I can start demonstrating of what did white leave behind. Well, white has left behind the pawn, and he's left his king exposed. In my annotations here, I say the sacrifice, the bishop sacrifice opening, sacrifice a piece worth 3 points. You do capture the pawn, so the difference is a loss of 2 points. The gamble is you're giving away a key piece for position and play. The king is stuck out in the open and cannot castle. What is more, you create confusion and surprise. No one expects this. Even if they do, no one would expect anyone to do it. So the fact that I do this opening, no one ever expects me to do this. They expect a normal opening, and when they do, they create confusion. And most people have not played games where the king is stuck in the middle and forced to stay in the middle and not able to castle. So it breaks with tradition, and that's how you can get an edge over players. King comes to e2. I put to d5. This is starting to take advantage of what's left behind. If you see king's over, so what's left behind, the knight bishop's been attacked. Bishop's open. His bishop was left behind, not looked after. Queen f1. White is trying to catch black sleeping. He's trying to checkmate me on f7. What did white leave behind? Nothing this time, but I'm castling. So that f7 pawn is protected by my rook and king and can no longer be checkmated. Okay, so good. What is left behind now? Bishop has moved back, and I'm sure if you can see the annotation, you already see the next move. That's right. White's white move is his knight is exposed. Now, did I leave anything exposed? What did my rook move into here? What did that leave behind? Correct, that f7 pawn. That looks pretty dangerous, doesn't it? It looks like it's close to being over, but it's not. I did see that this was coming. So king to h1. I mean h8, sorry. Rook f1. I don't get, yeah. Okay, this is what I said at the bottom. I don't quite get the point of White's move here. I see what he was thinking, but the numbers don't add up. Bishop on b3 is blocked. This was kind of a wasted move. So what did White leave open? He's left his king exposed. Bishop g4, check. I know that time it was harder to spot because this time it wasn't a piece, it's an actual square that was left behind. And that's something else you've got to grasp in your mind. When you come to thinking about chess, you don't only need to think about pieces of what you've left behind. You're going to think of potential squares where my pieces can go or where your opponent's pieces can go. So my piece going there gives check, gives me an extra move. King to e1. Now this move is amazing. This is an odd predicament that White is now in. Nothing is being threatened. I mean, nothing is threatening the queen. Nothing is threatening to take it. However, it cannot move anywhere without it being taken. The only escape route the queen had is now being blocked off by the knight. The most valuable piece White has is now like a pawn. Can't do anything. It's worthless. Now, also at the same time, I'm pinning the knight against the king. Just one simple move. And did you see how I keep telling you that the knight's the best square for the knight is in the center of the board because it controls 8 squares at the time. And it just went backwards and it creates so much havoc. So let's see. If the queen goes here, it gets taken. Queen goes here, it gets taken. Queen goes here, it gets taken. Queen goes next to the king, it gets taken. Queen takes pawn, it gets taken. Queen in front of my rook gets taken. Go in front of the queen, gets taken. Takes the pawn, gets taken. It's trapped. Okay, so he does d4. I do c6, knight c6. Okay, what did White leave behind? Bingo, pawn. He does c3 to chase the knight away. What is left behind? The knight, bishop. And this was the only what I'm saying in my note next time is that this bishop is on the diagonal that the king was on. This is the only real piece that White has that could be considered any threat to black. So that's why I was willing to get rid of a really strong knight, because his bishop was fairly strong too. Now that potential threat has been removed. Now White has doubled up pawns. I go to d4. Knight to d2. There's a potential mate for black in 2. Do you see it? Okay, let's go on. Now do you see the mate? Okay, he does f2, and that's because he's blocked the mate. Now, what is left behind? The pawn on c3. Now, Rook White made a really big blunder. I have no idea why he did this, but it cost him the game. And that is Rook to c1. I have no idea what he's thinking. Needless to say, it was a bad move on his part. Queen takes Rook checkmate. But the whole point of this game is by looking to see what my opponent left behind, I was able to take advantage of that. And then it's small things. It can lead to taking a pawn, but that's one pawn less that your opponent has. Okay. So that's, again, another example of how to use what I was trying to teach you on that street video and that thought process video, and how to implement it into your games. Look to see what's left behind. Now you can do that too, because you need to make sure when you make a move that you need to know what you're leaving behind. When I moved that rook across, I knew and counted the moves that I knew he did not have enough to finish me off. His bishop was blocked off. I knew the only possible threat that he had was rook, the main queen coming down. So I was aware of what I was leaving behind before I moved the castle or the rook. Okay, so let's go to have a look at my games now. I got 11 waiting. Okay, so these are currently live games. Okay, so I'm playing again on this one. I did my King's Bishop Sacrifice opening. So let's go to Queen check. Normally I would put my knight up here somewhere, but he anticipated this, Jonah, and pushed his pawn to h6 and blocks my knight. And sometimes kings go into the back here, and it can get pretty ugly. It's fun for me. Okay, so my move. So my next game. Okay, so I already did this plan, and now he's pushed the pawn forward to block the check. But now I've got an opportunity to cause some damage. Now I can go to knight here, give check. He moves the king. I take the pawn. He can take back with the queen or knight. Or I can push the pawn up to attack the bishop. Pawn or knight would take. I still haven't castled, so let's just give check. He's basically castled again. Okay. This is another game. I've been waiting for this guy to move. So yeah, this is another this is another example of my King's Bishop Sacrifice opening. Oh no, what is it? I can tell this now because he still has the f7 pawn. Okay, so he's put the knight on the side. And I have a saying about moves like that. Knights on the wing are dim. Because you cut your knight's power in half. And it looks like he's in a lot of trouble. Let's see what we can do. Oh, hang on, let's go back. Analyze the move. Okay, so queen takes knight. So he's just lost a knight. Now we're all square. What's white's next best move? Well, first of all, if I'm black, I'm gonna... Okay, let's play as black. Now, white's clear obvious threat is to discover check. Now, I could go and take the pawn. Okay, so let's. He could always put his bishop to a6 to tap my rook. But again, let's see what the real threat is here. I don't think he can do anything to stop me doing what I plan. However, I don't see the real attack anymore. Okay, so he could put his bishop there, but that's not going to do anything since I'm going to move it anyway. I'm either going to take this pawn and give double check, knight and queen check, take this pawn, threaten his bishop, but there's really no point to that at all. I've also got this knight coming up as a threat. So knight takes pawn, check, king move, bringing this knight up to go into f7. And it looks pretty strong and try and win the rook. Okay, so what's black's response to this? He's got double pawns, he's got an isolated pawn. His position is not that great. Okay, well, that's not my... I don't see anything too hazardous against this move. Okay. Okay, for this game, that's quite interesting. He's moved his knight from d4 to f5 for some reason. First time I played this gentleman. He's 1100. So he's lost a few games since he qualified for this. He was 1200 at one. Okay, his position kind of sucks. So, hold on, I can see what his threat is. Like, he's got the knight to f5. If I move my knight, he's eventually planning to come out and cause some trouble with my king side and stuff like that. But if I just did something like d5, his knight's under attack, and he has to push it back again. And he's done 1, 2, 3, and it'll be the fourth time he has to move the knight. Sorry, Fiona's being a little bit silly. Okay, so let's have a look. I really want to take the f2 pawn. Okay, so let's do that. It gives me a check and it gives me an extra move. Okay, so this is another example of my king's bishop sacrifice opening. I guess you can see now that I really like it. Now his king is stuck out in the middle. That's perfect for me. Let's protect that knight. His bishop's hanging. His king's stuck way out in the open. I should be able to exploit that. Okay, he's pushed in this game. He's a little bit higher than from me. He's from England, apparently. Okay, I got a potential trap here. His knight's pinned against the king. That really isn't much. I can get my knight into the center, but he's going to push it back with the bishop, then castle. So, yeah, this is a freaking Queen's Gambit declined opening. He's going to try and get his queen onto c2 and then his bishop onto d3 and attack my h7 pawn when I castle kingside, if I castle kingside. Now I've got to make sure his knight doesn't, when he does this, it's vital that you stop the knight getting to the e4 square and do everything you can to get the knight onto the e4 square, and that will stop that attack happening. So that's that one. 5 games to go. Okay, another okay. If I can go back. Okay, just to explain you what I did there, I didn't need to think about it. Knight goes to check. Most times, people put the kings back to g8, and then my queen comes to b3, gives check, and if you're not careful, it's like some people just put the bishops to e6. I can just take it, and it would be checkmate. Other people put the knights there, that's check, then put the bishop checkmate that way too. It's really dangerous if you don't pay attention against me. My openings can kill you. Okay, so another Queen's Gambit declined. Full win. Let me double check. Oops. Okay, so I got 4 games left. Okay, so I've already made sure. Okay, so let's get this pawn up so I can get my bishop onto this file. Interesting. I started playing this game with a Sicilian knight off. Well, it's not the knight off version because he didn't do a6. But so I guess I have to take back. I can't go down a knight. Hey, he's gonna do e5. It gives me a lot of ideas. He goes e5. I have the potential to go take f7 next or give check because there's nothing to get in the way of his king. Yeah, a lot of ideas. Okay. Next game. Okay, he's pushed to f5, making this pawn extremely weak. If I got a knight to that square, it would be pretty good. So let's force the issue. He either brings his knight out, all it takes, and then I can get my knight to the center. I got bad pawn structure here though. And he's got one isolated pawn, and I got an isolated pawn. Neither of us has castled yet. Since I'm gonna do this because that's his main weakness right now. That's what he's left behind. Is that pawn is extremely weak because there's nothing protecting it. And if I didn't move it, he would have just eventually taken the knight with the. Anyway, yes. So what he's more than likely to do is either push his queen up one, either e7 or d7. He could push the pawn up, threaten my bishop. If he does push the pawn up, I can just put the knight there anyway. Attack the queen. If he puts the queen up to attack the knight, um, hmm. I thought I would be able to put the knight to g7, give check, but if he puts the knight queen up, like I said, he's just going to be able to take it. Let me show you. So if I go here, he pushes the pawn up. This would be bad because I've lost the piece. I thought I was going to be able to go there, but if he does this, then I could give check, but there's not much point to that. So I think honestly the best move is this, like I originally thought. He's planning to take my knight, and he has a good opportunity to, but right now I'm attacking his rook. So his response has to be this, or in reply to that, he can just develop his knight. To which I can go to here. Now his pawn has been threatened. He can't. We can take my bishop. I would take back. His knight would be threatened. He would then have to move his knight. He could protect. I mean, it is protected by a queen, but it's not going to be a problem for me to take back with a take the knight with a pawn. So yes, so we went through a few scenarios. So this is the best move. Okay, so this guy is already on my hit list. Now this is the bishop sacrifice opening again. The knight is protected from being taken by my bishop. I am going to take this pawn now. It's protected by my queen, and I'm now threatening a discovered check. And I can do double check by either put my knight there, check, oh, that's going to be amazing. Look, watch this. I just seen how I could made him if it goes well. Check. And if he did something, uh, I know he's not going to do this, but I wanted to show you. Check. He wouldn't be able to take back because it's double check. He wouldn't go to f1 because it would be checkmate. King to there. Knight. Check. Forking the rook, king and queen. Looks amazing, doesn't it? But it's also checkmate. King can't go back. So that's the potential threat. In case I went too fast. Knight takes pawn. If he does anything else like this, knight check. Because it's double, he has to move his king. And then knight to f2, checkmate. Sweet, if it works. So yeah, let's go ahead with that. I mean, he's not likely to do something like that. He's probably going to... He can't take his bishop. Oh, I've got him in. Actually, what can he do? Okay, that's the last of the games I have, so you can spend some time. So that's my move that I made. I thought he could just do this, but he can just do that. But watch this. I take back. He takes. He brings his knight out. And I've won a rook. Doesn't matter which one. He can choose which one I'll take. And then I've got the threat of this, keeping his king penned in. So he'll probably do that. Oh, yeah, that doesn't work. Doesn't. It almost works. So let's see. He's gonna do this. Taking is not the answer. This is. If he brings his knight out, I can just take. If he pushes the pawn, I thought I had him again because of that square, but the bishop's there. Bishop, knight takes, bishop, rook takes knight. This time I got him and he can't trap me. He can do this, but I would take and fork his knight and queen and bishop. May just try and do. I don't have to. You can do this. Threatening the check down here. Okay, so that's some food for thought. So I just explained to you how to. Basically, I wanted to show you once again the game of looking before you leave and see what's left behind, and then how to use that as the attacker. See what your opponent's left behind and use it as your advantage. Then you got to see some of my games and see how I think, and I did try to speak out loud again. Again, I know I'm no master. I probably made mistakes. Some of you is going to blurt out, but it's how you learn. So, my mistakes is your fortune. Okay, so that's another video for today. Thank you. Have a great day.